Good evening, folks. I'm Baroque, and welcome back to the Pale Beyond. After what was mostly a successful stream for the first couple hours, we then ended up reloading all hells and back to both survive and keep all of our squad from a cold demise. Now, I think we set ourselves up to a decent point. Hopefully, that means we don't have to do too much reloading today. I'm not so foolish as to think we might not end up in deep peril, but it's new things from here. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. Week 32. It's a little chilly here, but it's not minus 46 degrees chilly. But we're all doing alright. Get yourself a warm beverage. Take it steady. Oh, we've got wounded and frostbitten and cold, and my goodness, the supplies are looking a bit low, aren't they? Let's see what everyone has to say. On. When it might finally be clearing up here. About time. Gods, remember when those bloody penguins showed up at camp? I do. Seems an age past now. Not much longer now. But not soon enough. Can't wait to get moving again. I must say, Doctor, something in your walk as of late. You're holding that head high. Hey, AJ, good to see you this evening. No, after much reloading, we're okay. It took a bit. Alright, it took a bit, but we're alright. Although, as you can see by the red symbols at the bottom there, my management may have been somewhat lacking. But we've got this far. And they're telling me winter's almost over, so we'll see if we can make it through without reloading back into Act 2. Oh, thank you. I'm sure you're as eager as the rest of us. Not long now before we'll be able to stretch our legs outside again. On that subject, I was running a few physical examinations in preparation of returning to work. Do you mind? Of course not. This won't take long, I hope. It shouldn't. Right, before we fill up things, should probably see what requests we have. Oh, let's see if Yorick and his team were able to find the mysterious mythological entity, or if it was truly a fruitless endeavour. Captain, I should apologise for my demand a few weeks back. As you should. Not a single sighting of this beast of yours. Garbage. All we've got is the cuts from the blizzard to show for it. I don't know what I was thinking at the time. Certain I had seen something. We got nothing? The long darkness can play tricks on the mind, no doubt. I'm more disappointed in Captain Shaw. Such delusions should never be encouraged. Right, I'm sorry. Again. Hey, front star. Captain, do you mind moving Timmy back closer to me? He's had his fun away at camp, but I need to keep an eye on him. You think the young boy cannot manage without your watchful eye? No, it's not that. Timmy's done plenty of growing while we've been out here. It's me who needs him. He's an extra arm. Protective parent, I see. Well, Captain? Ooh. He does need his help. We don't want him to be in bother. His son might loathe it, but if we get through the winter... Very well. I'll move your son back in with you. Grimly! God damn it. Good. Thank you, Captain. I'm sure Timmy will kick up a fuss, though. He will, but as long as we get through. Captain, I was running a standard physical examination on, well, I'd request you meet me in the medical tent this evening. Is there an issue? Why not present it here? The individual involved would rather this be handled privately. Apologies for sounding so cryptic, just later, after dinner. Maybe Kurt's not looking so chipper. I must admit I'm curious what issue the doctor had encountered that requires your summons. Well, I needn't pry. Private matter is a private matter. Right, nobody immediately wants to chat. The doggos. Very good. Right. We've got big problems. Do I have any of that medical stuff? Ooh, enjoyed the luxurious meal, AJ. Making me hungry. Here at the moment, we got some leopard seal we managed to hunt. Some elephant seal we can chuck in the burner. We want to keep hold of one flare. We can use the medical comforts to get folks away from being wounded, which I think we'll do. Speed the hooch first. Okay, keep it above 50 because we can't risk morale going much lower. Then before we start... How much of the furnace can we feed? Hang on, no, we want to... Have they got frostbite, all of them, or are some of them frozen? The wounded lot. He's freezing, not frostbitten, so I don't want to double up on them by mistake. We put the wounded in. Get them to rest. Clear them out straight away. That way, anything that removes freezing won't target them. Oh, cavity and Yorick. I can feel it. I can see it. The warm light at the end of the tunnel. Good for you. As far as I can tell, it's still dark as shit. It's a metaphorical light. Winter has almost passed us. About time. Mayhaps, HA. I'm sure there'll be plenty of opportunities in games to bring up such things. But I've dipped my toe in strategy in the past, and I know the first Frostpunk game had a decent amount of the two, and those dilemmas were unpleasant. And from what I hear of the second, it is more of the same. But certainly one I'd consider. The backlog is pretty brimming at the moment, though. But we chunk through these indie games fairly quickly. It will very much depend on how the bigger stuff... Like, I have no idea how long Dragon Age is going to take when that comes out. Or even how it'll be in its launch date. Hopefully it's not an absolute mess in terms of technical issues or crashing. Because that would be hellish for stream. We'll see how we go, though. I'd like to keep an open mind. Speed the flame. We want an elephant seal... Oh dear. Second elephant seal? If we're on the outs of winter, maybe we can afford to do so now. We can always burn the booze. We haven't had to yet. But if this is going to be the last week of it, let's risk it. Then that gives us 32. 44, 50, we need a little bit more. I'd rather keep it over. Okay. Get the engineers to try and thaw out everybody else. Aye. Well, it's not going to be as far-flung as Dragon Age Inquisition, which that was like a 60-hour playthrough. That was big. But it had all the MMO trappings, and from what I understand from interviews, they have really curved back on that. So hopefully there won't be a lot of meandering. Oh, the engineer's still freezing. It's alright, that'll develop into one person with frostbite. We just need to not send a load of people out. Oh. Crap. we need to try and find some research. Seals. Seals. That's not good. It says they're all animals. If we get 2 breaks in the tent this evening, we'd be screwed. We'd need 8 people. Get 1 person to have an interview. Let's do Timmy. Where's he at? Oh no, we can't. He's currently a specialist now. 2 Johns. Gives us some decorum. That puts us above 20, which is nice. Those 3 will get cold, but that's okay. They've scouted out food we can get for the next set, potentially. Unless we end up moving axe. I don't know if there's a 4th act. Absolutely. I think too many games, AJ, got on that open world bug of like, we need to be wider, we need to have loads of stuff, when those games certainly have their place, but it doesn't need to be every single bloody video game because people have limited time, especially as gaming audience is so much wider in terms of an age demographic now than it used to be. Don't always want to be getting all the 100 collectibles out there. Sort meal time. Hopefully there aren't 3 holes in the tent, because if there are, we will just be reloading the day, because otherwise it will be the end of the run. Who eats, returns to their posts, the dark continues. Oh! No holes in the tent. Might be worth sending 1 team out for food. See what Hammond and Templeton are up to. What's with you? You've got a keen eye on the medical tent. It's nothing that concerns you. Or you, apparently. Are you bothered you're being shut out of a meeting for once? Yeah. I don't care much for secrecy. Templeton, you've been secretive this whole bloody time. Coming from you. It's bloody rich. Well said, Hammond. Getting told. Oh, they're going to be upset. Oh, no. Almost over now. What? I remember when the wind would scare the shit out of you. You'd hide under your blankets and cry until it went away. Don't tell anyone that, Dar. No, embarrassed. I'm all grown now. Plenty of growing still ahead, Timmy. Aye, you're getting there. Aye, AJ, and I think that's only a good thing. I see more and more folks talking about like the rise of the dad game. You know, fitting that demographic. And I think it just means there will be more games for more demographics going forward. That diversity is important. And catering to those needs is just as important. There's so many trying to glob on to the biggest, you know, young adult demographic. Or even trying to appeal to kids. Like, look at what Fortnite's done. More variety will always be a good thing. Oh, it is Kurt. I really like Kurt. I want to get him back to his family. Maybe he can retire. Speaking of older fellas. Ah, Captain. Don't let the cold in. Captain Shaw, to what do we owe the visit? Oh, Kasha, this is actually a private matter. Do you mind giving us the tent for a moment? Oh. Very well. Kasha exits. I think all diversity is diversity. No matter the size of it. Sorry, I don't think this is worth getting the crew worried over. What'd you find, Nutley? Let's ask him straight out. I noticed an arrhythmia in his heart. It's difficult to determine the cause without further examination. Might have pronounced that way wrong. But as it stands, my current diagnosis is cardiomyopathy. Absolutely butchering that one. Let's try one more time. Cardiomyopathy. Nope. Years of adventuring finally catching up to the old ticker, eh? Well, it could be generic. But it's just a guess. Still, some unusual rhythm is no issue. Oh no. Have you experienced shortness of breath while sitting down? Well, fatigue, a sudden cough when you lie down, dizziness. I noticed some swelling in your ankles as well. Who's to say that, Kurt? Please, I'm trying to help. Yes, I've experienced it. What does this mean? Well, it's manageable, but you will have to take it easy for the rest of the expedition. Ah! No more hauling equipment. Very well. If you're offered a drink by the crew, refuse. Tough but fair. And, well, it's my belief that Kurt is not fit to lead a lifeboat once we set off. Now, Doctor! That's just not possible. And I think that's a difficult thing to, like, if you generalize it to that sense, to the people who are in those minorities, that's not ticking a box, that's recognition. Like, people can argue here or there whether it is forced into a game or not, but for the folks in those minorities, it is just as important to be seen. You saw that a lot when more games started doing character creation and offering more like proper skin options, hair options, letting people represent themselves on the screen, even just something as simple as body types. Like, it's really important for folks. Especially in a game like an RPG where you can create your own character, I see it as never an issue. Like, why not? I'm the navigator. You can't honestly expect anyone else to handle that sort of duty. Oh boy. Well, he has a point, Kurt. It's not safe. There's no point you sailing us safely back. You've trained people up. You'll be fine. They'll seldom are. Health comes first, Kurt. The entire crew's health is at risk if I'm not navigating those boats. Kurt, I won't mince words. You could die. We all could. But I don't want to argue you, Arthur. We won't be getting anywhere doing so. It's up to you, Captain. That's true. I think it's worth the risk. I don't want him to die. Kurt, you're not fit to lead the boats. I order you to rest. But... I won't argue. I trust your judgment. Both of you. Thank you for seeing reason, Kurt. And thank you, Doctor. It was a good catch. Oh, let's not tell the crew about this, shall we? I don't need them fussing over it, and a man is due his privacy. I'll respect that. I suppose I should get an early night, then. Kurt exits. I hope he don't do something reckless. I get your point, AJ. I just feel it's always an assumption, right? It's not like you get like a documentary or a wholesale interview from developers talking about, oh, management forced this and this, or we as devs wanted to do it for this and that reason. There's never any concrete discussion about that. So it's impossible to know where that line toes. And I think a lot of folks don't consider that, A, devs might want to do that because of diversity on the teams itself as they get more and more diverse. And the idea that someone does it for more money just always feels a bit... If money was always the complete and concrete focus, and you want to hit your largest demographic the hardest, so I don't know. I don't think it's clear-cut, and certainly having both would be ideal. I think there's a lot of disingenuous discussion on that front. Speaking of disingenuous, I don't know if we're going to be getting many. It's like this shows like, oh, lots of animals, but I don't trust it. One person is frozen. 3 scouts all got sent out. They will all be frozen. So that is 1 who will definitely need the tent, 3 who could. If I send another 4, that's 7. We're out of big seals to lower the freezing. Engineers can cure 3 people. Tent can cure 3. I send 2 out. think that's okay. I think they did better than a lot of industries, that's for damn sure. As our understanding of people broadens over the years and the internet lets people be exposed more and we learn more, there's room for more. And again, with so many games, there's space for everything and everyone. Not much space left in this camp, though. I really hoped that mystery myth monster would have given us some food, but alas. Don't do anything stupid, Kurt. Oh, no. You awake to the sound of distant barking. Seems one of the dogs has been excited by something. You sprint from your tent. You are alone in being awoken by the dogs. At the centre of the campsite, a crack begins to form, followed by more, spreading out. The dogs leap from the kennels, sprinting southwards. Wait, wait! Cordell runs across the cracks in pursuit of her dogs. The ice shifts beneath you. You hear the sound of something falling, then smashing. The lamps. Oh god! How have we gone to hell so quickly? Hells, what the fuck is this? Oh no. The flow is splitting. Quick, we need to move. Now! No wasting time. Nutley and Kasia run out from the medical tent. Nutley carries his bag slung over his shoulder while Kasia's hands are filled with notes. What is this? Ice is splitting. That all of your work? What could carry, yes. No good. Your tent's going under. What? No. My equipment. All the medical supplies. I should not have sent more people off. Do not go back that way, either of you. Understand? Templeton turns to Kurt. How should we handle this? Captain, we need to get out of this tent as soon as possible. Everything past that point is going to be swallowed up. This is probably the biggest problem we've had thus far besides the ship going down. You heard the man. Everyone haul what you can. Move! Crew get to work on the thermos and lifeboats, hauling as fast as they can. With the ice barrier breaking as quickly as it is, you realise you only have time to save one tent. Oh! Oh, crap! The medical tent, the dog tent, and the supply tent. Shit. We can find more supplies. I used a lot of them today. Like, more food we can find. The ability to heal people, I cannot find. Like, if people get cold, and then they develop conditions, they're gonna die. I understand your vote, AJ. But from what the game's taught me so far, I think the medical tent has to be. Oh, we are completely on opposite ends of this spectrum. Like, the dogs have all run outside, it's just not having their main kennel. But if we lose the dogs, we can't go for more supplies. These are all bad. And I reckon at some point we will be reloading to this point. I'm afraid I'm going to go with my gut. You can tell me I told you so later, but I'm going with the medical tent. Hatchet and Nutley have saved what they could. There are still the doctor's medical tools, a crate of tin lemons to be saved. Wait. Do I have to send someone in to get it with me? I sent a load of people out. Doom, I'm sorry for putting you in harm's way. No, I can't put Doom in harm's way again. One of Cordell's dogs howl in fear. You see the digging tools for the hunts, a large double-barreled shotgun, the worn bolt-action rifle, a flare. Still, these are all the things I still have in my inventory. Junior and Hammond have saved what is already in the hoosh and fern. The stuff I put into... I am glad I put extra food in today. The remainder of the frozen penguins, the leopard seals, hefty ale kegs, the spice crates, the engineering tools are beginning to sink. So I'm not saving the capability... Well, no, I am, because it said medical supplies. Gravity crosses the gap to rescue the doctor supplies. The ice splits further. The tent sinks below. And there goes the rest of it. If I'm screwed, we'll end up reloading, but we're going to see what we can do. Crew barely make it out from the burning trap. A few sustain burns and bruises from the frantic escape. Okay, see, all these who are wounded now, if they don't receive medical treatment, they die. 4 of them are wounded. I can only heal 3. That is cruel, game. That means I have to lose someone. We've settled a new camp by the shore. That was Act 3. Captain Shaw, personal log. New camp has been formed in the aftermath of the ice split. At the close of winter. However, the crew cannot rest at this time after a long journey. Shore has been reached. In the coming week, the crew will sail out on the lifeboats in search of proper land. Soon, this ice shall be left behind. The ice split proved to be a truly traumatic experience for the crew. The fact that the crew escaped with all lives intact is nothing short of extraordinary. Aye, AJ, I will recommend it. It's like, looking back at the decisions we've made leading up to this point, I can imagine, like, mine and your playthrough, for example, would vary wildly, and I'm really curious just how much can change. But yeah, I've liked it a lot, and I keep wanting to go back for those more conversations and building the characters together, and it's fascinating. Same cannot be said of our equipment. Many supplies were lost, washed away and carried off with the ice. One can only hope they no longer prove a necessity in this final stretch of the expedition. The crew has reached the shore, but now a greater challenge presents itself. The ice beneath our feet will not hold for much longer. It's destined to break apart and tear as it did before. Solid ground must be reached in search of the point of rescue. To that end, the crew must sail out onto the open sea. Trust their capabilities. A team of fit, well-experienced sailors alongside a navigator of the caliber of Kurt Darling. Though it may seem daunting, sail may prove to be the most comfortable task for the crew. Sailing's their lifeblood. They're more equipped for this than they are anything else. Oh. This is a much smaller tent. Wait, Cordell ran after the dogs. She's still here. At least. Oh boy. Riding out soon. Aye. Nervous? We have to be careful. We don't know these waters. Well, chin up. Better look confident for the crew. Oh, Captain, I'm just triple checking my notes. I'll kick myself if I end up leaving anything behind on the ice. I hope my report doesn't take a dip in the ocean. Smell that air, Doctor. This holds. There'll be no better time for a sail, let me tell you. Well, isn't that fortunate? Ah. Kurt, please be careful out there. Oh boy, AJ, it'll be a very different playthrough indeed. Less mouths to feed. Less illness going around you. You know, it might be smoother sailing for you. I will. We've kicked the lifeboat several times over, Captain. They're as ready to sail as they're ever going to be. A good while ago, I'd have had total faith in these vessels. Now I'm less certain. One more push onto land. I don't know if I've got the energy left. These old arms may break off if I try to row. Huh. Well, best see to it. Oh, Lefty. It was his birthday the other week. God damn it. Oh, we cannot send doggo expeditions out anywhere. We're close to our original goal, though. Oh, boy. Okay, we have the med bay. We cannot save them all. 2 Johns. Runtsdar. Yorick. Mrs. Gloss. Tropica series, or Tropico rather, is one I've heard of but never really engaged with. I always assumed it was in the same variety as Civ, but I could be wrong there. I just don't know much about it. I know there's like 4 of them? Alright, before we assign resources or anything, let's take the requests. Notley. Captain, we have a few injured from the ice split. I've managed to arrange a small batch of crates to treat anyone. Well done, Doctor. Quite ingenious of you. Oh, thank you, Mr. Templeton. We unfortunately won't be able to make any more comforts, but I will treat whoever I can. Captain, we've got a problem. How urgent? Bloody compasses. They don't work. Excuse me? None of them. They've all been going haywire just after winter cleared. Mr. Hammond, we're due to set off on the water. We cannot wait on the ice a moment longer. Think I don't know that? Shit. Calm down, men. We have a clear sight line of land. We don't need the compass. I say, foolishly. You know how easy it is for the waves to turn us around? What if fog rolls in? Mr. Hammond, do you have any idea what is causing the error? Looks like a case of magnetic interference, but that can't be right, can it? We've come further south than anyone in history. It may just be the case closer to the pole. We best hope for good fortune. Hope? Great. Sailing on bloody hope. A word, Captain. Speak your mind, Templeton. The animals. In all my years, I don't believe I've ever heard of dogs being able to sail the silver seas. Have you? I'm not so sure. These dogs might be different. Very funny, Captain. Straightens himself. I know what he's about to ask. One of us is going to have to break the news to the kennel master. The dogs will not be joining us on the ocean. It's my decision to make, not yours. Certainly. But you understand what must be done. I don't appreciate being patronized, Templeton. I do not want to kill doggos. I see. Fair enough, AJ. It seems to lean a lot more into the managerial side of things than a combative side of things. That would be horrendous. My intent is not to patronize. It should be clear by now that I've only the interest of the expedition at heart. Trust me, you've made that very clear. Good. Then it's time we inform Cordell. I'll talk to her. Oh, no. Thank goodness we have been raising up her loyalty this whole time. Oh, don't make me do it now! Oh, this is going to be... Oh, look at them happy and playing! We can just squeeze them into the boats. We're going to be fine. Look at Stanberry. Oh, don't... The unique background art. Somber music and a panning screen. Bellular Studios, what are you doing? The animals are eagerly trained on the penguin fillet in Cordell's hand. She notices your approach. Captain, I was hoping to speak to you. What's this about, Cordell? I think you know what this is about. About them, isn't it? The dogs scramble as she launches the meal across them. No, AJ, not calories, no! I understand you're going to shoot my dogs, aren't you, Captain? I wanted your opinion on the matter first. Honestly, Cordell has been the most on-point individual of this whole thing. Hasn't got into beef with anyone, has just done the job. Is that so? She looks out across the animals. I'm no fool. I just don't want them to suffer. I've been through so much already. The animals continue to scramble over the fillet. These dogs have known me their entire lives. She points at the dog tearing the fillet from its siblings. I used to carry that one around in my pocket as a pup. Do you have children, Captain? I don't. I understand sacrifice. Stanbury joins her side. Look at his face! I don't mean to sound cliche, Captain, but they're all I have. Can't help more animals if you're dead. They can't sail boats. I didn't expect you to understand. I won't waste your precious time any further, Captain. Tom of it. What are your orders? Stanbury watches you with suspicion. I think she's loyal enough to me, where if I told her to stay, like either of these, she'd be on point. But if she wants to, this, if that's what she wants to do with her life, one of the boats is yours, should you wish. Oh, then we have one less boat. And say it. Don't be ridiculous. That would be a death sentence. Man, she has never glared this whole time. Oh, this is the hardest one of the lot. It's death either way. She said, I don't want them to suffer. Surely she's considered letting nature take its course. I'm too optimistic. Maybe they can survive out here. I'll stay here. Let nature take its course. They wouldn't last long out here, sure. We've seen stranger things already. They might outlive us all. We'll have to chase them off as they try to follow the sailboats into the water. You begin to make your leave. Robin. Oh, wow. First name. Yes? I'm ashamed to ask it, but I implore you this one mercy. She ruffles Stanbury. May I keep one? Oh, I'm gonna cry! Just one. You can stay, Oh, from the dialogue we did earlier. Oh, tears. You can stay, Stanbury. I'll need my replacement captain after all. It tilts his head at you. Thank you, Captain. I won't forget this. Nor will I. You depart across the snow. Oh, the smile! Gotta give credit to the artist. As sketchy as the art style is, look at how much little expression work they're doing on the face. Like, really small, subtle changes. Ah. Give the order to leave the dogs. Word spreads quickly that the dogs will not be joining them for the sail. We have one. Many of the crew take this last chance to sit with them while they can. The crew have their meal in relative silence. They share what little food they have with the dogs. They return to their posts. You can choose who to spend your evening with. Oh boy. Is there anyone else up there with it? They're gone. Oh, that was some stuff. Oh, Kasha, don't try and interview her now. Eat up, all of you. You'll need your strength for the times ahead. Lady Cordell, is this a bad time? Kasha, of course it's a bad time. This is my final evening with my kennel. I understand. I won't bother you then. It's quite all right. Did you need something of me? No, I wouldn't ask anything of you at a time like this. I just wanted to see how you were faring. Concerned for my health, are you? My thoughts are on the final comfort of these dogs. My dogs. I will not see much comfort in the future. They will starve, they will suffer. It would have been kinder to put them down. I could not bear Stanbury to suffer such pain. Perhaps they'll find food. Perhaps they'll find a way to live out here. For goodness sake, you're not a child. You know they won't. Oh, but I hope they will. Right. May I ask you a question? Are the dogs included in that report of yours? Well, yes, I do have them listed by name. I've taken records of their shifts, but that's about it. I don't know much of the pack beyond that. Would you like to? These creatures have lived rich lives. Perhaps that is of less value than the other names in your report. Not at all. They're just a part of the crew as any other. They were. Still, tell me about them. I wish to know more. Well, I suppose I should start with Stanbury, should I not? Stanbury was... Oh. Grimley, what you doing with the doctor? Some last-minute checks? No. No? Not last minute. Last-minute checks come the morning we leave. Well, doesn't hurt to be thorough. Anything can change. No chances. You seem concerned. Does it hurt to be? Oh, I completely get that, AJ. I am indeed. Life tends to be a much harsher reality. But I am one to hope. No, not at all. You seem to be doing well. Considering the circumstances, I am. Thank you, Grimley. Aye. Get some rest. Hammond, won't be seeing them when we set off, won't we? Liked those much better than most of my crew. Always pulled their weight, at least. I miss the wee beasties. Oh, it's somber for everyone. Oh, poor Rut! There. Good boy. I'm going to miss you all around here. Are we sure we can't bring them with us? Sorry, Timmy. We can't. Fine. Would we be able to pick them up again on the way back? I don't know. Whee! Those creatures will be left behind come our departure. Wonder if they will attempt to follow us out to sea. I understand Cordell would consider them smarter beasts than that. But I am not sure. They will die out here. And would you have been willing to pull the trigger, Templeton? I would. I assure you of that, Captain. Kennel Master has been even more silent than usual after this day's events. Understandably so. Perhaps it's best to check in on her. I just did, it's alright. Not what we can do out there. What we can do is... The problem is, someone is about to die. I'm sorry, Yorick. You have drawn the short end of the stick. You got yourself and all them wounded. If I have to make a choice, it is you. And I had hoped to get through without losing anyone. And I can't use medical comforts. We don't have any. And even if we did, it wouldn't suddenly unlock another thing. There is nothing to feed the furnace. Get the engineers to knock out the freezing. That helps. There is no more food for the pot. Yorick took them out there to chase a myth and got them all wounded. And then, even though I then looked after them, more wounded have come along. I don't think any of them are deserving of death. Alright, I don't want to lose anyone. Yorick here. Hello, Dark Eyes. Yes, alas him indeed. The problem was, when that tent fell down, 4 people got wounded. As far as I understand, after a week passes and you rest, anyone not cared for will die. And I think that may have been intentional on the part of the game developers to ensure you lose someone at this point. I could be wrong. Maybe they keep surviving. Let's find out. Morale goes down too much. I have to do 1 so we conserve food. Because we have that can that can cure scurvy, so if someone gets malnourished and that transitions, then we can sort that. But I need this. Give us that wiggle room. Oh, the stuff we sent out. We got some seals. Sight of the ocean lifts spirits. People got cold from the hunt. I'm glad I sent them out for a bit more. Good. Good. No, AJ. No. Quill Sea is now freezing. Mr. Zack is malnourished. Yorick has not died. We're still in the clear. Everyone lives. Week 38. 2 weeks at 4th camp. Do I do this first, or do I do my other stuff first? I don't know. Oh, sure. Almost ready to set out. It's good to hear. It'll be a relief to get off this ice. Still need to assign the crew at their stations. Plan carefully, sure. Alright, that's the game letting me know I still need to assign folks. Don't know what we'll face out there. Everyone needs to pull their weight. Anything else, Captain? Thank you both for everything. I believe it's time we set sail. This is our only chance to make land. Stoke brothers are waiting for you by the shore. I'll not pretend to be adept at nautical matters. I trust we'll choose your boat captains and allocate the crew wisely. Pardon? The medical tent is gone. All 3 to get back up to 50. I can't do all 3 to get up to 50 because then we won't have enough fuel. I don't know how this works if we're on boats though. Remove people's freezing. $24 is not enough. That's a terrifying statement, JJ. Absolutely terrifying. Right, we're just above 25, but that means we're buggered. 'Cause morale will go down. I might be screwed. Preparations begin. Templeton, Hammond, Kirk, Cordell, Nutley and Cashore all board the largest lifeboat. Grimley and Junior man the other 2 vessels. Remaining crew must be decided. All living crew must be allocated to lifeboats before you can set sail. You have 16 left to assign. Anyone who's currently under ill conditions needs to come with us on this lifeboat so they can be saved. They board the vessel. We have 13, which is 6 and 7. 3 of each. Our Runtstar should probably be with us. Then that would make 6 for each. Alright. We keep the father and son together. That only seems fair. I wonder how much the gameplay is going to change here. 3 of each for these. Keep the old smokers together. Separating people as well. Oh! Thanks for the heads up, AJ. Been a long time since I watched that one. Am I separating Mr. and Mrs. Gloss? I think we have to. I want one of everyone on each kind of ship, just in case something comes up. How many is that? I have 8 left to assign. One left to assign. That'd be the other engineer. I think that's everyone. Oh boy. We're now ready to set sail. How bad can it be? We'll not be able to return from this point. Are you sure? Aye. Camp is packed up and the lifeboats prepared for sail. As you glance back to shore, you notice the dogs sitting on the edge. They paw the water, eyeing the boats and their master. Bordell readies a rifle and fires it into the air above them. It is enough to scare them off. Everything is ready, Captain. All that is left is for you to give the order. This isn't going to be easy. Keep alert. At the mercy of the ice and the ocean now. It's 2:15 in the afternoon. Some back home, the end of lunchtime. For you, the beginning of a countdown. Observe the souls aboard. Anticipation has quickly melted away the malevolent stagnation all were feeling on that floe. Your past and future seem to shrink against the glaring challenges of the ice ahead. Consider my previous sailing experience. The rank and order you're accustomed to will matter little out here. Here is a land of chaos. You must be willing to adapt. A far cry from your time in the merchant navy. You've ferried much, but this is undoubtedly the most precious cargo of your career to date. You grip the tiller firmly and stroke. The boat lurches forwards, bobbing side to side, parting the inky waves. Stroke. You're gaining speed now. Stroke! Everybody row! Cadence is reached by all those rowing. The oars lift in unison. Uncomfortable for most, crews arrange the equipment as best they can to lift their sitting position to account for the raised edges of the boat. It's not long before Nutley begins a periodic ritual of dry heaving over the side of the boat between his turns rowing. Asher calls over her camera, paranoid of any moisture that may enter its mechanisms. Human resources. No. No, AJ. Continue to sail. Have a swig of his tea. The music now, though. Fog finally clears to reveal the ice around. There is a palpable tension that just is feeding its way into my brain. I thought that third act would be the worst of it. We're so small. Beautiful, yet extremely oppressive. I love the sun glinting off it, though. It's a beautiful shot. Was a fade to black, to be continued. I played the first Frostpunk, AJ. I had a good time with it. The second one I'll get to. It's on the backlog. Oh, the darker ice with like the blues on it almost looks alien. Oh. Terrifying but profoundly beautiful all at once. We continue to sail. Now the dark. By evening you've nearly escaped the ice. The empty ocean is almost visible on the horizon. The boats lurch. The smell is horrendous. Seemingly enticing to a large gathering of snow petrels, they shoot down from the sky at their leisure, scooping up a meal at a time. Mackerel ice fish, I think. How do you know that? My father used to take me fishing whenever he could. Hammond stops rowing momentarily. You sure about that, kid? You've been puking for the year straight, at least. The doctor goes red and tries to prove he can hold it in. Kasia furrows her brow, readying the camera. What do you think it means? Doesn't mean anything. Cold current, most likely, where the ice meets the ocean. Emily calls from his boat. It's a bad omen. The living aren't supposed to be out here. Templeton grumbles to himself, something about superstition. With the birds overhead, it's nigh impossible to avoid their droppings. At least it's warmer than snow. One finds its way into the doctor's hair. Fresh gastral purge follows suit. Lovely. Kasia looks to you, uncomfortable, shielding the camera. What do you think, Captain? Sailors have made a career of defying where people shouldn't be able to go. Grimley's no different. I'm no different. He seems satisfied with this answer, taking a photo across the water. Poo warmer than snow confirmed. Cordell lifts a fish from the ocean and presents it to Stanbury. The animal smells it before shying away from the food. She drops it back into the ocean and buries herself in the animal's furs. Continue to sail ahead. Here we go, I think we get to the meat of it now. After hours of rowing, we finally reach the open ocean. Impossible to avoid the stingy sprays of the sea as they invade the boats periodically. Everyone is left bailing with whatever they can find. Hats, mugs, even bare hands lift out the water. The crew begin to curse into the night, at each other, at the events gone past. It's the only means of protest that doesn't interrupt attempts to remain warm. We've got to let them get it out now. We can't have them build it in. Especially while they're working, if they're, they're shoveling water out. But the sailors sing their slurs into the night. Out here each should be allowed their own reprieve. At least looks to see if you curse and decides it isn't safe. Templeton at least lets out the odd posh paragraph. They did make a documentary about this game that I think it's on the menu. Oh no! Oh, the singing's back. Lightning flashes to the west, followed by rapturous thunder, underscoring the sounds of the sea. Hold fast! Your screams are lost in the thunder as a large abrupt wave smashes against the boats. Rogue wave! You're just about to crest it. The moment passes before the other two lifeboats join you. Every sailor knows the tale of rogue waves, freak anomalies that plague seas such as these. You hear singing started by Junior. Soon it infects the rest of the sailor folk, defiant against the storm. The song is about three sisters dancing to seduce a sailor. Second, larger wave hits the boat. Same again, just about. Sailors change key. Sing with them. You don't know the words, but you'll never forget this tune. Echoing as best you can, the others follow suit from beneath the tarp. Even Templeton sings. The third, final, and largest of the waves hit the boats. You're lifted near vertical. I think when that's happening, we hold his breath. Or do we keep singing? Maybe we want to encourage people to keep going, or are we buggered? Keep singing. Spray enters your lungs. Feels like forever before your boat finally crests the wave. The tiller buckles in your hand, your eyes burn from the salt of the sea. All three boats make it across. Ah! You finally make land. The navigator is the first to step on solid ground. He turns to the rest of you, sodden. We've made it, ladies and gentlemen. Land at last. Week 39. Land. That was a very brief act. I wonder how wrong that could have gone. Look out across the ocean. Consider the journey thus far. Can I do it again? Yes. We have nothing to feed the pot. Hammond's lost his hat! The poor bastard. We've nothing. We have nothing. Oh dear. Let's take requests, I guess. Carpenter sent me. Says we ought to get building some sort of marker. Can't say I disagree. We've made it farther than anyone else. Something to take pride in. I'll get to it on your order. He leaves. It may be in our interest to hold a small encomium, Captain. We've come so far, we should praise ourselves for accomplishing such an impossible task. All the stubble growing in on him as well. We have progressed beyond the last known location of the Viscount. Answers to its disappearance may lie on the Isle. Captain, once we are through here, I'd recommend you scout the area for any sign of human activity. For safety, of course. We need to eat. Why can't we give people medical attention? Construct the marker first. Here we honour the crew of the Temperance, who ventured beyond the Pale Passage and arrived safely. Robin Shaw, Richard Templeton, Clive Hammond, Kurt Darling, Grimley Stoke, Junior Stoke, Lady Cordell, Dr. Arthur Nutley, Cassia Belford, Andre Isaac, Dwight Glossley, Harriet Glossley, Vern Sheridan, John, Timmy Ward, Skylar Pleck, Harold Turner, Tolson Higgs, Rafe Hume, Doug Ward, Gareth Fawcetter, Ricky Flogs, Adrian Quilsey, Yorick Moore, Soren Kilpiper. There we go. Their goal was to find a ship called the Viscount, which was an expedition that went before us to find the furthest south point. We were to go and find out what has become of them. But it seems we have met the same fate. Or at least our ship did. You see the engineer tinkering away at some navigational equipment with his usual sour expression. Shit! Places the equipment to the side and lets out a grunt. Damn thing still doesn't work. Do you think it could be the environment? Hammond gives you a sideways glance. Maybe. Couldn't begin to know. Not like we have any bloody experience for this. Not a bloody soul has come this far south. Who knows what's ahead? Having trouble? Kurt approaches, a more noticeable limp on the man, forcing him to use his cane. What do you want? Still trying to get the compasses working again? Threaten that I might. The look on Kurt's face is one of hesitation, as his eyes dart around, doing all to avoid the gaze of Hammond. I have somewhat to declare regarding my previous actions. Carry on. Well, I believe that in dire circumstances, pride can often take the better of us. Stop stalling. What are you trying to say? I would just like to apologise over our earlier scrap. I got carried away before, and I see it did neither of us any good. You're right there. It's not in me to hold a grudge, Hammond. Least of all trapped out in this cold. Enough with the appeals, just spit it out, why don't you? We should be working together. More importantly, I am sorry. From the bottom of my heart, I apologise. Oh, look at his face. Hammond pauses for a moment while looking towards Kurt. After that moment, he returns to his tinkering with his equipment before finally speaking. Accepted. Excuse me, what was that? Apology accepted. And do you wish to apologise to Kurt, Hammond? Aye, sure. I apologise. Apology accepted, Hammond. Aye, sure. Well, I suppose I'll be off. Let's look with your adjustments, Hammond. The eyes. No chance of getting them working here. We're relying on you. I'm sure a relic when compared to your machines. I'm relying on you. See? Kurt steps away, turning to camp at large. I'm surprised to see it. They're both very prideful men. I'm glad to see it. Put those trumpets away. Sounds like something's going to be awful. Let's cross the ridge. A cairn of stones. You inspect the cairn. You find a letter, some supplies, and a bolt-action rifle. To you who finds this message, here lies the final testament of the Viscount. We made our arrival on the east shore of the island. Before moving on, we established a cabin to mark the landing point. There you will find enough supplies to support a crew of 20 for a full year. While charting the perimeter of the island, the crew came across a cavern at the mouth of the central mountain. Captain Wayland decided to split the crew in order to chart the location further. His half have elected to enter the cave through the open stream, while we've been sent to mark the western coast on land. I don't trust the captain. His actions of late have been erratic, cagey. He has avoided all questions from myself and the rest of the crew. This behaviour has only been exacerbated since encountering the cave, enclosed as an instrument that may be needed in some time. If you can find said instrument to be missing from this cairn, then you will know that the worst has occurred. If you are reading this in our wake, another poor crew sent to this isle, heed my advice. Turn back. There is something truly wrong with this land. It has felt the touch of the Three Sisters, cursed to swallow poor sailors whole. If you are wise, you will not allow it to happen to you. Turn back. Signed, Bertram Reynolds, Head scout of the Viscount. Oh, well, at least our morale will be up enough to not be completely screwed. But one revolver, a few medical tools, and an accordion and camera. Maybe, AJ, as Shill said, maybe there's Lovecraftian hints at the very end. I think we're being manipulated to believe that, though. I think it's going to be quite mundane, but I'll have to see. Crew have their meal. A wave of ease and rest falls over the crew, safe and fed. Crew look to you, tired and bruised. You consider what words will bolster them. Oh God, these best be good words. You all make your way to the marker. Oh, it's individuals, it's not... Nutley approaches you. Captain, we've come a long way, haven't we? We've grown quite a lot in that time, Nutley. Have I? Am I any taller? Before we move on, there is something I have to confess. Something that I've carried on my back this whole time. I don't feel right keeping it from you any further, so... I allowed Captain Hunt to abandon us. Explain. When the ship was going down, I saw him. I watched as he grabbed his supplies and began to take off onto the ice. He saw me, but didn't say a word. He knew that I was too spineless to do anything. I couldn't even bring myself to tell anyone. He was right. I was too spineless. Until now, at least. And now you know. I don't care about the mistakes of your past. Learn from this and move forward. AJ in the chat. I don't even know if I should try. Say, no, demons fuggling. I don't know. You could have made all of that up. Or I've just summoned a demon. I should have known better before. But you're right. I'm sorry, the truth had to come out. Do what you will with this information. I'll accept anything you decide, Captain. Nutley walks off, turning to his tent. The old captain left. That's all's to be said of it. The choice was made. I'm not going to share it around to upset people. Captain, is there something I should be made aware of? What do you mean? Mr. Templeton has been snooping around, interrogating me on my report. Seems as we approach rescue, he's taken it upon himself to approve of what lies in my writing. He has taken it upon himself, correct? You didn't set him up to this, right? I'll tell him to leave you be. Good. Ah, well, I believe that's partially true. I think all humans are inherently broken and we are jagged jigsaw pieces that try and fit with one another best we can, as we need each other. Still cut at times. I'm no stranger to people who want to omit parts of my work. So she looks so grim and tired now, by the way. She's knackered. Saw it plenty while covering the riots, but I have no intention of censoring this report. Story not based in the truth is worthless. If I have to leave parts out or fabricate others, then it was a story not worth telling in the first place. Could always gloss it up a little. Turn your head to see Kurt approaching, apparently having eavesdropped on the conversation. What do you mean? Well, the story can still be plenty honest, but some require a little bit of polish. About your films, weren't they honest accounts of your expeditions? Ah, they were, well, more or less. More or less? There's no objective truth. After all, the camera adds £10. I suppose it did, AJ. I must have eaten quite a few cameras in my time. Oh, she didn't like that. Asher does not appear to be amused. I doubt the existence of lens distortion gives right to omit from my report. You're right, Kurt shouldn't suggest you lie about the expedition. I'm suggesting nothing of the sort. I am no stranger to the world of show business. What I do isn't show business, Kurt. It's journalism. I've been around both long enough to know they're one and the same. You should hear some of the tabloid rumours I've read about myself in my time. I'm aiming to be better than the gutter press, Kurt. You've been part of countless documentaries. Surely you would care about presenting the facts. The facts are not immune to artistic license. I can't believe what I'm hearing. Facts are facts, Kurt. If we look bad, so be it. What, huge loyalty drops! All of a sudden. Holy hell. Quite a lax look about your reputation, Captain, for all the work you've put in for us. Why are you suggesting this, Kurt? I just feel that we've braved so much that we deserve a somewhat flattering write-up, so perhaps some omissions are necessary. Now, at the end of all this, now you're too up your... Such as what? Many of this crew come from backgrounds best not shared with the public, and more has happened here that should remain on the ice. You... a private conversation with Nutley, or his illness. You resigned yourself from the sale. Is that what this is? You want nobody to about whatever health issue you keep under wraps? Regardless, it'll remain under wraps. That's not for the public to know, right? That's fair. He doesn't want a medical issue just exposed. I'm simply stating that for this kind of story, people reading want to be inspired. There's no reason to saddle them with the nitty-gritty. I see both sides of this here. Like, she needs to report the truth. We don't want to lie to people. But at the same time, you don't then need to take his illness and throw that out there. We survived. People will see that he's ill when we get back. But I am here for the story. The full story. Not single, solitary soul wants to hear the full story. Nobody got into an Arctic expedition because they heard about the rest of us having dysentery. You just want to protect your own image, don't you? What? Well, no, it's nothing of the sort, but... I'm no fool. I can see exactly what you're trying to do. Let's not debate this matter. It can wait until we're on our way home. No, this is important. I didn't think you would be so concerned about your image, Kurt. Well, that's your mistake. Mistake? Why at the very end are people losing it? You can't expect me to be the perfect role model you see in films. I'm only human. And he's angry for the first time. Apart from when he was talking about his family. Good God. I've been married thrice, hobbled once, and been plagued with every vice there is. What I do have is my exploits and my legacy. I would wish you not take that away from me as well. That's the thing, I don't think she's being unscrupulous. And she doesn't even know his medical condition. That's not what she was talking about. She was talking about Templeton trying to scrub information. Kasia looks to you. Her usual upbeat visage melted away into disbelief. I can't lie on your behalf, Kurt. You don't understand the power of optics. Every part of your report puts my livelihood at stake. Your livelihood? Or your image? The cold truth is, there's no difference between the two. And you, Captain? Do you believe this as well? No. Free to publish as you please. I trust her. She's not been here to scrub us, and her background and what she talked about, she wants to tell the truth. She wants to tell the story. I trust that she'll do that. Of course, but surely you can be encouraged to... No. No. I'm so disappointed in you. Please, I'm simply saying that sometimes it's better to reframe the reality for a better story. And feed your ego. It's all you care about, right? It's all I have to care about. Kasia's face has shifted yet again. Now to one of cold cynicism. This is some real You're pathetic. Whoa, Kasia! Kasia storms back to her tent, as Kurt gives you an uncomfortable glance. The man looks shaken by the response, and above all, appears to be deeply embarrassed. Without a word, he staggers back to the heart of the camp. That was way more real than I was expecting. How are they both looking, though? Still loyal to me. Barely still loyal to me. We'll take it. We'll take it. Captain, we've escaped the ice. We're on land. We are so close now, Shaw. So very close. You both saw that cairn, Captain. Traces of the expedition which came before us. Sure, I believe we can still find the Viscount. Our mission can continue. Do you really think there's a chance we can find it? No, but that's the thing. She didn't even know his medical stuff. Like, we actively kept it from her because he wanted it to be private. She wasn't going to take away his pride. She's just going to report on the actual thing. I don't see her as screwing him in, like... He made it about him rather than the truth of everyone. That's why I lean towards her. I see where you're coming from. But because she didn't actually know that, and I didn't push... Maybe if I'd have told her, that would have changed things, but it wasn't my secret to tell. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, surely. I know that after all this time, the specifics of our employ may seem inconsequential, but tell me, Captain, do you think the Appletons would pour all this effort, put this many lives at risk, if they didn't think there was something truly paradigm-shifting at the end of it? You still have a mountain to ascend before making that choice concretely. Ask me again then. He still have his life and family, AJ, he does. If his career ended, he could go home and be with his family, which is something he clearly gave a damn about, but was angry about because he was away. She didn't say she didn't care. She said she was disappointed. Which still hurts, I'll grant you. Very well. We can discuss this further once we've traversed this mountain. He stops and turns before leaving. One last thing. What happened to your captain's hat? The dog ate it. He leaves. That's true. The dog did in fact eat my hat. Nothing for the fire. Hold an encomium for the crew. Now this, hopefully, is what I can use to bring up decorum or we're screwed. The crew are all called together before you. You tentatively lift yourself onto a crate. Hushed whispers roll through the audience. Kasha readies her ledger and pencil. They once again await your next words. How will you deliver them? With renewed optimism befitting of solid land. Yeah, that's the vibe they had. To be fair to her, that's the only time she has lashed out this whole thing, and it is her, like, her main belief and her pride. That is her pride as a journalist. Like, and he's asking her not to do that for the sake of his appearance and his pride. It is the main bashing of heads there. I don't think there's going to be a right answer there. I just lead more on her side for it. And again, knowing what we know about both their pasts, I think she was in the right. Again, I think you're right. Didn't have to be a dick about it. But everyone's been through the ringer to get here. I want to try be optimistic with them. Irrefutable evidence of progress can be felt beneath your feet. The crew look to you. Should all be well acquainted by now. Tried my best to rise to the occasion. Only the history books will know if that was enough. And breathe a sigh of relief. We've made land. There are indeed several heavy breaths released among the crowd. A silent moment of reflection passes. Only sorry that Cuddell's kennel could not make it with us. That feels a little too pointed. We should all be proud. The end's in sight. Kurt speaks up. Our work's not finished yet. Still have a mountain to scale. We all saw the cairn from the Viscount. Across that path is safety. A cabin with enough supplies to last us until rescue. Templeton clears his throat. What is our current priority, Captain? Ooh, I think umming and ahhing at this point and being like, we'll decide when we get there is foolish. I want to give them a goal. We're going to reach that cabin. We'll get rescued. We're going home. Templeton throws you an unsure look. The assurance of solid ground seems to stir the... Oh, 50 decorum! Oh, beautiful! That's more than I could have hoped. Well said, Captain. Indeed. Well, we don't have much time. Best be moving on. Back to work. The crew are granted the time they need before they eventually disperse, turning to their roles at camp. What roles? Nobody can do alt. I saved the medical tent so we could cure people, but there's no curing to be had. But Yorick hasn't died yet. He's still going. You dream you're back on the Temperance. Wake up shaken. You awake shaken, literally, by the engineer. He stands over you, bug-eyed. For a moment you think you're back on the Temperance. Oh, I'm glad you enjoy that part of it. The panic wake up. Hammond? Sure. It's Cordell. What about Cordell? There's food and supplies missing from the stores. I think she's trying to make a run for it. Sure, I never took Cordell for a craven. Yes, we need to find her before it's too late. Lead the way. Cordell, of all people, what is happening? After getting up, the two of you charge out of the tent into the snow. Track's heading up the mountain pass. What's Cordell doing? What's happening? She's not like a sleeper agent. We didn't even have to bring her. Follow tracks away from camp. Keep looking. It's half an hour before you finally spot her, ascending the dead mountain. There she is. Go back to camp. I'll handle this. I'm not letting you screw this up by yourself. That's an order. Fine. I'm not having him get shot because of something stupid I say. You creep up towards a silhouette. Cordell! Cordell picks up the sound, slowly turning back around to spot you in her line of sight. She clears her throat. Captain Shaw. Oh no, she is armed. To what do I owe this surprise? Getting a head start on tomorrow's scouting? A fine idea. Fine night for it, yes. And a fine story. But I don't think either of us believe that's what I'm doing. I know, I tried to be jovial. Stanbury's expecting. Then you should be doing what's best for those pups. What does it look like I'm doing, Robin? If you leave, you're ensuring their demise. Perhaps. But there's more of a chance out here than with the rest of you. I'm not going to allow Stanbury and I to be a part of this expedition any further. I'm not gonna... Do you really think the two of you will be better off without the rest of us? I do. Those puppies will be my new litter. I'll start over. Certainly not the first time I've had to do that. Snowfall begins to set on you both. Should have come to me first, Cordell. We both know that wouldn't have worked. And let me convince you now. I'm listening. You might feel that you don't need us, but we need you. Both of you. I'm not going to say Stanbury here, girl. That seems like the death knell. She'll just shoot me. It's not about the pay. You might feel that you don't need us, but we need you. Both of you. She's still listening. Most of the people in this expedition are half the age of you and I. You've seen Nutley, you've seen Kasha. Even without your dogs, we need your experience, temperament, I can't herd children without my kennel master and her best dog. The lady is silent for a minute. Ah, the loyalty! She finally walks over to you. The two of you begin the long trek back to camp. Stanbury follows patiently. Oh, my heart skipped a beat. Brought a tear to my bloody eye, thank God. Not a word is spoken on the journey back. Flabberjack. Week 39, land. Kasha, carefully. Turn your head to spot Kasha perched precariously over the edge, her camera in her hand, lining up another shot from a position. Kasha, not like this. Not near the ledge, please. It's a great shot of the horizon. Trust me, you've fallen off these before. You've got a good shot of falling to your death. Get back over here. Ground isn't safe. You can't trust anything beneath your feet this high up. If nothing else, Kurt knows his stuff for this. He's been right so many times about it. Kasha doesn't heed their warnings. Instead, lining up the shot, snapping it cleanly. There. No issue. This just might be the banner image for my report. If the civilian is done being foolish, might we move on? Kasha turns and turns back around to join the rest of the queue. Dark Eyes! How could you do this? Oh, I knew it! Only for her to slip on the ice beneath. You lunge forward and pull her forward so she isn't hurtling over the edge, but her initial stumble sent the camera falling below. Oh no. It was a close one. My camera! Be thankful the camera took the plunge and not yourself, young one. Despite reassurances, Kasha moves back to the edge of the cliff, peering over, searching for her camera. I can't lose it. Everything from this expedition was on there. Wait, I see it. Nonsense, it's a blip on the rocks. You can't see the ground from this distance. No, it's not on the ground. It's snagged on the ice. It's not too far down. I can climb back down and... Not a hope. You want to go back to climbing? If I lose that camera, my entire reason for being on this nightmare goes with it. Yeah, she's at breaking point. I'm getting that camera. He turns to you. Captain, we have to do something. I can't tell her it's just a camera. What? These are all pretty hardline options here. You've still got your... Like, this is still cruel. I know how much she cares about the camera. This is going to be like -50. My notes aren't enough. The world needs these photos to believe this. Aren't they? You'll have the testimony of the rest of us. The story comes from you. Not that machine. Aye, AJ, it was her fault. Doesn't mean I don't sympathise. Kurt steps forward. I'll do it. Have you two gone mad? Now it's his pride. What do you think now, AJ? Now would you lean into his pride? You let him try and do it for that? We had him resting. We've kept everyone alive. I genuinely am not sure. I have trusted him every step of the way. If he genuinely thinks he can do it, he can do it. I'm coming too. This is my fault. Hey, she's stepping up as well. You'll be safe with me. No, I met the man with years of bloody climb. He's still injured. They both do it. Kurt fixes the rope to Kasha, locking her in tight with the climbing gear. Leave the climbing to me. As a civilian, your safety is top priority. I would suggest rethinking this plan of action. We cannot afford to lose our navigator. It's because I'm the navigator that I'm going down. If I can't save that camera, no one can. That would be the preferable option. Kurt pays no heed to the process of Templeton, continuing to climb down with Kasia in tow. Thank you. Don't thank me until the job is well done. Bad luck otherwise. They're risking their lives for a bloody picture box. You should stop this, Shaw. I let them go. They've made their choice. Kurt and Kasia begin to slide down the wall of the cliff at a steady pace, Kasia keeping her eyes on her camera at all times. Easy now. Easy now. You can do this, Kurt. Reassuring yourself isn't very reassuring to me, you know. Okay, I think I can get it from here. Think, both of you, please don't make any rash movements. Collects the camera. And there we go. Now get back up here, you madman. Job well done. So much for bad luck. Why'd you have to say it? Yes, now let's climb back up. Kurt begins to adjust the lines on the climbing gear, prepared to lead Kasia back up, but the extra weight from the camera causes the rock beneath Kurt's feet to crumble. The former film star goes hurtling back. He snaps to a standstill. The line between himself and Kasia still intact, but the weight of the big man's fall puts Kasia back from the face of the cliff. Blast! Kasia, you alright? I can't see the cliff. What's happening? This blasted line won't hold with me. Pull us up! The rest of the crew hand back. Less added weight to the cliff's edge cause an even more direct incident. As you look down, you see the pair flailing, helpless. Kasia spots you. Captain! I don't know if dropping the camera is going to do it. But if I command the crew to pull them both up, we risk the whole thing coming down. I'm obviously not going to cut the rope. That's simply not an option. Drop the camera. She reluctantly drops the camera into the void. And we pull them up. Crew scrambles to start pulling the rope up. No doubt the dangling weight of Kurt is also putting strain on the back end of the rope, as it's tied to a jagged rock at the peak. You notice the rope beginning to fray at the edge. So does Kurt. The navigator pulls out his knife. Kasia! She looks down at the man as he shouts. I always promised myself I'd use a few bastard in pounds. Bit late for that, I suppose. Don't you dare, Kurt! He isn't listening. You can pull her up, Kurt. You can do this. See a twinkle in the man's eye. You really believe that, Captain? You're Kurt. Of course you can. Puts the knife in his teeth. Starts to swing his admittedly impressive weight. He reaches the mountainside. Takes the knife. Cuts his line. While gripping to the sound of the mountain and returning the knife to his mouth. He begins to climb. Kurt! Navigator responds through the metal between his teeth. They faked the stunt in my third film, but it's worth a shot now! Man climbs until he's beside Kasia and continues gripping the mountain. Pull the rope! Heave to! Crew begin to pull the rope. Keep going! Oh! Kurt and Kasia are pulled to safety. The tension that just left my body is a wild thing for this small video game development team to have instilled within me. Holy shit! As they reach the peak, Kurt bursts into relieved laughter. Don't laugh, that was terrifying. We made it out alright, I think. Still, that was just like the movies. Yes, it was all quite daring. Might we move on? I'm glad you both made it out. I was so worried. Can't believe this show business fake would actually be daring. That's the thing, AJ. Everyone knows he does a load of films, so a lot of people didn't believe it. But I think he's proven himself over the course of our journey. I barely believe it myself. But it happened. And believe me, this will be a full page in my report. I don't require the credit. Stop the folks humble, Kurt. You're allowed to be proud right now. You're a real hero. Oh, and the slow pan. Bloody hell. We move on to the peak. Oh. Crew finally crests the mountaintop. Grabbing everyone's attention is a cave in the rock wall. Cave? A good spot. Some shelter from the winds. Still, what lies inside, it may prove a danger. Crew get to work, setting up camp at the peak of the mountain. Camp is set up. What? Sudden zoom. Captain, it's my luck, isn't it? Make it this far to lose the camera at the final hurdle. Should be grateful nothing more important was lost. As Kurt approaches, Kasia lets out a small chuckle. Yes, that is the bright side, of course. Your life is much more important than a camera. Yes, still would have been nice to recover it. Of course, I'm not taking this for granted. There is something I should say. Past comments I made. Forgiven. Well, allow me to apologise first. No, I understand now. You can't convince me to lie in my report. I'll tell the entire truth. I understand. The truth is that Kurt Darling is a true hero. You needn't say that. I've caused my fair share of trouble on this expedition. Yes, and I don't intend to hide that from anyone. But your heroism is more important to share. What did you tell me about inspiring others? Thank you. I only hope another young Kasia Belford reads my report. You deserve to be commended, Kurt. Don't deserve anything, Robin. Shouldn't be our motivation. Chasing glory has been my vice for too long. Whatever you write about me has my blessing. There. I can expect honesty. Thank you, friend. And thank you. Oh, I agree, AJ. Going like, tear up, not tear up, tear up. We haven't full-blown burst into tears yet, but I'm bloody close. Do we have anything to feed to the furnace? No. Who could have requests at a time like this? Templeton. Captain, it is time. We're at a crossroads and a decision needs to be made. We both read the cairn. We both know the direction of the Viscount lies in this cave. We are this close. Our mission's end lies in wait. And what if pursuing this causes us to miss our rescue? We can always send another ship. The captains won't stop at one. If what we read is correct, the shore cabins should hold enough rations to last us a full year. We can afford the risk of a missile sinking ration ship. I think it's worth it. Should secure the cabin first, or returning. Right, of course. This mountain is perilous, Captain. Can we survive a second trek? Inform the crew of our movement as soon as you leave this tent. I know you make the right call, Captain. There is so much happening right now. And they're all yellow texts. What does that mean? The scientists. Find the crew's science officer overlooking several petri dishes containing various materials picked from the walls of the cave. Curiouser and curiouser. What's curious? Captain, observe the materials we've uncovered in just the entrance of the cave. Copper, tungsten, anonymity. These are deposits more likely found in lakes. Not all in a cave. let alone a mountaintop cave in the polar region. Nothing about it seems natural. Must be why they're looking for the area. Perhaps. Captain, may I ask you a question? Go ahead. I've assumed you must enjoy my questions at this stage. You keep humouring them. That smile. Well, regardless, we have been working together for quite some time now, and in that time, I've been able to evaluate you. Oh no, here comes a burning. After assessing your abilities and your decision-making, I can safely conclude that you are more than capable in your role as captain. As such, I would like to offer you a job. With the Appertons? Yes. Who else? You have precisely the right set of skills to make you a valuable asset to the company. It's time I told you the truth of who we're working for. There's more? Beneficial to keep cards close to my chest until you are fully evaluated. Templeton reveals a tinned can of rations. Passes it over to you. The woman modelling on the front stares back at you before you look back to Templeton. Yes, the Appleton Company, I already knew that. Don't focus on the name. On the face. Her. Her name is Minerva Appleton. She is the president of the Appleton Tinning Company. But why fund the expedition? Same reason anyone would. Tin food is perhaps the lowest priority within the company in today's age, as you can tell by the shoddy work on our rations. Instead, Lady Apperton is focused on turning her company into the only option in commerce, which is why she sought after the expedition of the Viscount. She's interested in what the Viscount found in the ice. And just what did they find? No doubt there are several details Minerva has kept hidden from even myself, but I will tell you what I can. The original expedition of the Viscount was carried out by the government, a race to find the southernmost point of the world, charter it out in the name of glory and science. But upon arrival, it appears they discovered the same strange environment as we have. They chose to investigate instead of heading back. Contrary to legend and hearsay, it wasn't the cold and the starvation that drove the crew mad. Oh, are we doing this? It was what they found there that took their minds. We're not going Lovecraftian, are we? At the very end? What did they find? That part remains a mystery. God damn it! But what we do know, there was a witness. A survivor washed ashore. Half mad. Their tongue cut out. They lived only long enough to give us a hint at what we're looking for. It is unknown what exactly lies in store of us should we find the Viscount. From what we know, the crew of that vessel found something world-changing. This is no mere treasure. What they found was unnatural in nature, a paradox existing at the most southern point of the world. And whoever can retrieve it, bring it back to civilization, will shape the path of human advancement for the next century. Hearing that, I believe I'm being underpaid for this mission. Yes, I can assure you a greater rate of pay should we be able to recover the secret of the Viscount. I don't like any of these options. Top ones and as neutral as I can go, though. I'm not going to say we go to the cave right now. I'd rather hear what everyone else thinks. I'm not calling it a waste, either. I cannot forgive being kept in the dark like this. I was hoping you would understand my perspective, but it seems your thoughts are clouded. Now I've told you all that I know. Please leave me to my research. But Templeton speaks up once more. Oh, Captain. You never officially responded to my offer. Do you wish to work with the Appleton Tinning Company after this? No. I am not interested in dominating the world in that way and being on the forefront of the folks who change it at the cost of so many. Oh. Well, I hope that you will reconsider. That's interesting. Did the bar just go down, or would we have lost it anyway? The bar went down just enough. That's gonna bite me in the ass. The Appertons have much to offer you. I wasn't gonna lie to him about it. Past the tent, they're quick to notice what's going on. Asher, the intrepid photographer, standing close to the doctor, their faces pressed closely together. She's alerted to your footsteps and opens her eyes, eyes which quickly widen as you're spotted. Quickly, she and Nutley pull away from each other, their heads nervously swivelling around the tent. Nutley letting out a punctuated "Aww." Bless him. Captain, you could have cleared your throat or something. We were just, sticking together for warmth. A clever decision. Yes, quite clever. Very, very clever of us to be doing that. That was definitely... Oh, and again. They draw unique faces every time. Look at them both. That's adorable. I think our good captain was jossing us. That offshore is quite dense, and that would be a greater issue for us. Congratulations to the both of you. Oh? Thank you, Captain. We should be thanking you, Shaw. Placing us together in one tent for a year certainly fostered conversation. Don't blame me for this. Blame? We spoke at length at first about his unexpectedly vast knowledge of ice fishing, and ending with casual conversation about our favourite newspaper scripts. Well, it wasn't entirely casual. What do you mean? I knew you didn't notice. You know me, Dark Eyes. I am too honest to a fault. Notice what? Asher clears her throat before putting on an affected voice, dramatically quoting her past statements. Why, Doctor, I think you'd be a great subject for my next report. I'm sure you wouldn't mind a write-up on your interesting life. Handsome young medical prodigy, you must have a bevy of suitors. Doctor, there is this excellent seafood restaurant in the capital. We should absolutely eat there when we return to land. Asher chuckles to herself. I used we for goodness sake. I was beginning to think you were oblivious to all flirtation. I recognise some of it. I was too nervous at the time to respond. I forget they're so much younger than everyone else here. Though it's true, I did think you were just passionate about seafood. I expect nothing less from you, Nutley. I don't know whether to take that as an insult or a compliment. We couldn't help ourselves. Honestly, I deeply admired her passion for her craft, her headstrong way of thinking, how she was so focused on her future. Everything I wanted in myself. Imagine if they hadn't gotten to this point. I admired his courage, went up against his fears, and possibly the worst situations possible. That's the kind of thing they make films out of. And just as I thought we were winding down, I told her I wanted to see her face again after we returned to civilization. Her again, bleh, adding words. Civilization. Suffice it to say, I was surprised that he would just blurt it out. I surprised myself. Before that, I had long since stopped considering that we'd make it back. All the smiles, look at him! Of course, that led to a new conversation. All through the smirk. And before we knew it, we were having a romantic embrace at the south of the world. That is until you walked in, Captain. Yes, it was rather inopportune of you. Asher pauses for a moment. You don't take issue with this, do you, Captain? Neither of these is a good option. But I mean, we have to say the top one because they're still here with all the crew. You both know Foundation's forbidden, I presume. Among the crew, yes, but I don't see how that should matter. Arthur, Nutley is a surgeon. I'm a civilian. You make a fair point, but be discreet. No need to give anyone else ideas. We were trying to be discreet until you interrupted. Well, forbidden or not, we're at the end of our journey here, I hope. Matters of the crew are in the past. Sail home with Kasia. But something to look forward to. Been quite a while since we had that. Agreed. I wish you both happiness, what you deserve. Thank you, Captain. Now, if you'll excuse us. Silly pair. Oh, we got an achievement for warmth. Find love on the ice. I mean, I didn't. Oh my god. Hammond and Kurt? Surely not. You notice Hammond and Kurt huddled around the boiler, deep in conversation as you approach. Their heads perk up, noticing you. Captain, didn't see you there. Apologies, Captain. Seems we're both caught up in our work. My work? You're just watching me, Kurt. But you did manage to pick out the materials. We were just replacing the spyglass I cracked on the mountain. May not be of any use in this cave, but you never know when we might need it next. Once again, my boiler comes in handy. What do you make of this cave, Kurt? Now we know what lies beyond, to a degree. It's an odd one, no doubt. A lot of questions we shouldn't be answering. Our priority should be to get to shore, not go spelunking. Coming from you? Isn't that the point of your shite films? Upon hearing that, Kurt puffs out his chest. So you've seen my films? Just the one. And what did you think? Pure bollocks. I should have figured. How many would I have watched? The naval captain at that point. No, I was just a merchant sailor. I haven't seen enough to judge. You've never seen my films? Well, I hope you would amend that once we return to civilization. I just can't get over all the inaccuracies in them. What inaccuracies? Take me for a fool, Kurt. I know a stage shot when I see one. Well, they did certainly clean up a lot in the edit. I don't get it. Well, don't you understand, chum? You're a proper bloody navigator, Kurt, and a damn hero. I've seen it with my own two eyes. Thank you. So why do you star in all those phony films? I wouldn't call them phony. And well, they may not be the picture of accuracy, but they have the power to inspire people more so than any true story could. Maybe I should watch them then. They come highly recommended. By who? You? Who else? Bit biased, aren't you? Well, I can't deny that. Take it from me, Captain. Don't waste your time on them. I wouldn't say that. But there's much I wouldn't say that you would, Hammond. In fact, it's clear that if there's one thing I'm in need of, it's someone who can keep me grounded. Get to it, Kurt. What do you want to say? I was wondering, would you consider... Spit it out, would you? Alright. Would you consider joining me after this? On future expeditions? As an engineer? Yes. Also as a level head. I need someone like you. I'll think about it, Kurt. I think Hammond would love to. Don't be putting words in my mouth, Captain. All I said is I'd consider the -5 loyalty. That's petty. That's petty, Hammond. But you will consider it. Aye, I will. Hammond pulls up the replacement spyglass. Anyway, here you are. All finished. Incredible. Great work, Hammond. No problem, Kurt. Karangi. What? My real name. Kurt's just for the media. Karangi Tohoro. I apologise for butchering your name, Kurt. And probably your intended accent, but I've done that for everyone. The song showed there's way more Irish in here than I've been doing. Alright. Karangi. See you around, friend. You too. Smiles on them both. Stoke brothers. You overhear the Stoke brothers engaged in what sounds like an argument. What did you say? I'm sorry, Grimly, but I can't fool myself any longer. Let's face it. Hunt abandoned us. Wrong. That's all you have to say, Grimly. We've been out here so long, he left without a word. He left us to die. To be torn up in a blizzard. To be eaten by a seal. Whatever else. Didn't care, did he? You don't know what you're saying. I know one better than you, Junior. The captain would never... He's not our captain. What? Take it easy. Nothing certain. Nothing? There's something I know for certain, sure. If it wasn't for Hunt, we wouldn't be stuck here. He did this to us. It's wild to see Junior at this point now. Fine. Grimsley storms off, marching towards his tent. Junior only lets out a sigh in response. Whew. You. I wish to speak with you on a matter. What matter? Concerning your report. Put simply, I have a story for you to include regarding who I am. You're a kennel master. That is true. Not the whole truth. Well, this is sudden. I've been curious about your past too. I've no doubt you were. The eyebrow. Cordell turns to Kasia as the reporter quickly scrambles to gather her notepad and pen. Now, I'm certain you have heard them call me Lady Cordell. Yes, frequently. I asked around, and apparently it was a moniker granted to you due to how you spoke. Well, those who dubbed me with that name have no idea the irony in doing so. Truth is, I am a noble. Or rather, I was. What? You were what? Your ears failing you. I care not to repeat myself. I was born and raised within the nobility. I don't mean to call you a liar, but that's just a big claim. Ingrid Cordelia Weston. What? Keep your ear to the ground often. I'm sure you've heard of her. Yes, actually. She's the distant relative of the monarchy. Had a seat as an MP for a brief period. Went missing unexpectedly. Well, I am Ingrid Cordelia Weston. Not... Oh, let her continue. I'm not gonna... I have all the proof I need to show you. No need. I believe you. You do? It would certainly be an odd thing to lie about. I assume you were aware of the political system, Kasia. To no end. Researching it was possibly the most dull and harrowing part of my last report. And yourself, Captain? Vaguely? Well, then allow me to refresh your memory. Well, as a distant cousin of said monarch, I was placed in one of those parliamentary seats. As you can imagine, I had no interest in being an MP. My aversion towards human interaction was no different in my youth. From the age I received my first dog as a gift in my childhood, I have much preferred, pardon me, their company. Surely there was once a time when you weren't such a recluse. Well, you've encountered and interviewed many of the nobility in your time, correct? Correct. Would you choose to spend your time amongst those people? Fair point. So this whole time we've been travelling with a runaway MP? Yes, I suppose it does sound quite unusual. I've learned not to be surprised at this stage. But why did you leave? The reasons for that are quite simple. I refuse to live that life any longer. In that world, in my position, certain things were expected of me. Act with decorum, attend every social event, keep your real self hidden till you've considered suitable to be shipped off into a political marriage. A grim reality, one I wanted no part of. My choice was clear and I didn't hesitate in my thought for a moment. I left home in the dead of night, taking only two things with me. A certificate of birth, for reasons more practical than sentimental, and my dog, for reasons more sentimental than practical. I started a breeding kennel in the capital, earned the moniker of Lady Cordell among the common folk. From then on, I was free. Free to feel the ground beneath my feet. As Cordell speaks, Kasia intently takes notes. I see. So trapped in a restrictive role in society, you broke free of your chains, yearning to be independent. I suppose, yes. It's like a wild pack of dogs, able to roam free. Please do not include a surface-level poetic interpretation of my actions. Poetics are my calling, but okay. Oh, that's good. Keep it. There's no accounting for taste, Captain. I think I'll respect Cordell's wishes. Though I do think with enough rewrites I can make it sound great. I doubt that. Thank you for sharing, Cordell, but why have you shared this with me? Why now? My report, it will expose your identity to everyone. Why would you allow that? Because I trust you to tell my story. And I no longer have anything to hide. Let peace on the face. Thank you. I promise I won't let you down. I'll tell the whole truth of your tale. I know you will, assuming you leave out that tripe about wild dogs. And yourself, Captain. Speaking of dogs, how's Stanbury? Faring well. Still pregnant. What? Stanbury is pregnant? Yes. Quite fortunate for me, after what happened to my kennel. What do you intend to do with the litter? I intend on replacing the kennel I lost, piece by piece. Stanbury will birth a new generation of sled dogs. So you'll be continuing your line of work? Yes. I'd much sooner begin again as kennel master than return to the nobility. Agreed, so that's your entire story? More or less, yes. I'm sure Captain Shaw has no objections to this tale. What say you, Captain? I'd never have expected. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate your listening. Can't believe you trust us with... Thank you, friend. Do not mistake this for closeness. Simply trust your credentials enough to consider you a professional. But you're welcome, friend. You turn and leave Kasher and Cordell. Man, it's the big, hefty ones. I assume there's nobody in the tent. With no supplies to feed. You look out across the ocean. Oh, no. And here is the choice. What week number is this? Will it tell me? It won't tell me. Look at how foreboding they've made that. Unnatural, twisting rock. Crap. The burning curiosity and love of Lovecraftian stuff is at complete odds with where our character has come to. They want everyone alive. If we go in there, people will die. 100% people will die. We will not get home. You know, a wonderful thing about video games, though? We can come back and see the other side. That's the thing, Dark Eyes. We can reload and have a look tomorrow. But what I do now will be considered my canon choice. But I won't rob people of the... Unless you want to go and play the game yourself and find out. What I think we do is go get rescued. And assuming this doesn't take another 2 hours, tomorrow we can load up the save tree and have a peek at the other side. We'll consider this the canon response. Abandon the mission to seek rescue. A quest abandoned. An achievement pop-up. A rare pop-up. Crew finally descend from the mountain. Unless this ends in literally 2 minutes. Then we go have a look. Hey look, it's the penguin colony again. A large colony of emperor penguins, enough to live on for some time. This old cabin from the original Viscount expedition, designed to sustain life for months, probably even years on the ice. Good girl, Stanbury. Good girl. Stanbury lets out a playful bark. About time we had a spot of good luck. Now we wait. There's enough supplies to keep us going for a full year. Let's hope we aren't waiting that long. We won't. Rescue will come soon. I hope you're right. I really do. Captain, do you think Hunt made it here? Part of me... Well, I hoped we would find him and the others here, tearing into the rations. Apparently not. I think he did. I won't be surprised. Hunt always was a mad bastard. Can't be surprised by him, can we? Regardless, I'm looking forward to a normal meal for once. If I see another penguin, seal, or tinned peach can, I think I'll hurl my guts, Captain. We'll be dining on plenty of fish for the next sail, I imagine. What will you do once you return to land? Track down whatever greasy spoon I dined in back in the city and try their entire menu. I'm tired, Robin. I'm happy to have someone cook for me for a change. His voice has changed probably one of the most. Stay in contact, Robin. If you ever sail out again, let me know. Be happy to work with you. I must admit, I don't much care for waiting around, Captain. These old bones are beginning to stir. Well, we don't have a choice. Rescue's coming. Of course. I'm not suggesting this is wrong. You've more than made the right choice. Oh, I just realised. My career as a navigator is just about over, isn't it? We've just reached the last great uncharted part of the world. You know, when I grew up reading about the great explorers of old, I always had dreamed that I'd be one to plant the final flag. I may be an old man with a limp and no flag to place. I managed it, didn't I? What do you do when we return to land? Please say see your family. First thing, well, I'm going to check in on my children. Yes, Kurt. Yes! Repair the bridges. I can only hope that they were worried sick about me. Who knows? Maybe my exploration days are over. Now's as good a time as any to call it retirement. Yes, Kurt! Full arc! I still raise funding for the field. I don't want to leave folks like Hammond behind there. Maybe I'll move to theatre. There's some stories I want to tell. Not about this expedition or any. About home. The islands I left behind. I suppose there'll be an opening for me. Maybe. I should take all of this as a sign to wind down, shouldn't I? I'll always be in contact if you want to work together again, Robin. I'll make sure we do, no matter the medium. Captain, I'm putting together the finishing touches on my report. Not much else to do while we wait for rescue. You best win a prize for it. You deserve no less. It's not about awards, sure, it never has been. This was a story I wanted to tell. It's funny, Captain, the reason I took on this story, interest in exploration, was waning. I grew up on the stories of Kurt, darling. These great explorers were like legends to me. I didn't want that passion to disappear. Never thought I would be part of a tale of sheer endurance myself. Seems like a dream. What will you do once we return to land? I think I'll take a long break before starting my next project. I certainly need to spend time with my parents, introduce them to Arthur. Regardless, I hope you continue to thrive, Shaw. You deserve that much. In fact, remember to keep in touch with me, especially if you have a good story to share. I'll write books about you one day, Robin. I know I will. I can't believe it. A moment of rest after all this time. This cabin is like a sanctuary in the oasis. Sorry, that sounded overly poetic, didn't it? It's something Kurt would say. You've made it so far. Proud of you, Arthur. Oh, now I am going to cry. Thank you, Robin. I owe it to you. Do you really think rescue is coming soon? I'm sorry to turn doubtful, but these are perilous waters. We know that all too well. Rescue will come. Have faith. Okay. You believe it, and so do I. You know, I still thought it was all hopeless. Even after leaving you that letter, I had very little faith in survival. And yet, people were relying on me, Captain. I can only hope I didn't let them down. You're a good doctor. You've proven as much several times over. And somehow, despite being wounded, Yorick is not dead. Yes, there's always room to improve, isn't there? I certainly don't intend on becoming complacent. I never felt good enough to carry my father's name, but now, well, thank you. Keep in contact. If you need a haircut any time, I'll tell my father to treat you for free. Templeton does not want to speak. Hammond does not want to speak. I assume that's because for both of them, no loyalty with Hammond. He's loyal to Hammond. And Templeton, that last conversation tipped us over. That's the way it's gone. Well, Captain, I suppose we've made it. We should be safe from here. As if our rescue ship is indeed coming. I suppose I shouldn't cast cynicism on this accomplishment. We should be proud to have made it this far. We wouldn't have made it this far without you, Cordell. Kren, or Roseau, or Pascal, or Stanbury. I did not accomplish much on my own, Captain. All I ask is that my kennel be remembered. It will be odd to return to land. My name will be in the papers soon. No doubt I'll be recognised for my past. And what will you do? I certainly won't be returning to my past life, even if I am known. I believe I'll find a new home. Start over with a new kennel. I've done as much before. I intend to do so again. With any luck, we will not meet again. I hope not. I hope we meet again. Well, we'll see. Frankly, you seem to bring misfortune, Captain. A jape, of course. It has been interesting, Robin. Promise me that you will take care of yourself. Templeton. You best get settled in, Captain. I imagine we'll be waiting for quite some time. The days pass in relative silence. Templeton checks the horizon each morning. Still no sign of rescue. Days begin to drift by. Oh no. There's a sudden rumbling. Did you hear that? Let's check, Captain. There's a profound shake and the sound of a large blast. Change to the usual cold peppering of snow catches your attention. So just to be clear, we went in there, death. But now it's gone. Whatever was in there. Warm. In fact, not snow at all, but ash falling from the sky. Volcanic. The man seems clearly defeated. That's it then. The Viscount is forever lost. A shame, but we're safe. That's what's important. But for how long? How long will we last here? Ah, horn rings out, cutting through the winds at camp. I didn't just hear that, did I? Arf, arf. Wait, is that Minerva? That's it. That's the rescue ship. Why is that still orange? That's alright. Boat! Ship, I know. A massive icebreaker pushes through the waves and arrives at the shore. Lifeboats are sent to the shore. It isn't long until all that remain are on deck. Before you stands an old lady, draped in finery. A face you recognise. From the Tinned Peaches. Minerva Apperton. Templeton steps forward as Minerva and her crew approach your group. Wait, she looks familiar. Is that the woman from the tinned food cans? Captain, I never expected Minerva to travel herself. It's commendable. We all nearly died. Indeed. You best allow me the introductions, Captain. I'm certain she will have many questions. Templeton approaches the group. Minerva, it is good to... Where is the Viscount? Rufus Hunt has much to explain. Where's that man hiding? Hunt, well... I'm not going to lie now. Rufus Hunt abandoned this mission. He left us to die. Disappointing, but hardly surprising. You should all consider yourselves fortunate. Had we not seen the eruption, we likely would not have found you. Interesting. You are Officer Robin Shaw, correct? In Hunt's absence, that would make you acting captain, if I am not mistaken. That would be correct. If what you say of Hunt is true, you have been leading this expedition for quite some time. Minerva Shaw has... Richard, please. I'm speaking with the captain. Yes, but your counsel will be appreciated once I request it. For now, I would like to hear from Shaw. You have been waiting a year for this conversation, Shaw. I shan't waste our time making small talk. You stand here without the Viscount. Why is that? I prioritise guaranteeing my crew's safe passage home over your mission. Interesting that you do not consider the ability to achieve both a personal failure. Ugh! I won't mince words, Shaw. From what I understand, you've made the conscious decision to abandon the mission you were hired for, breaching your contract. An offence of this degree will see you answering to the court, Shaw. Do you understand? I'll accept whatever legal punishment is expected. I know I did the right thing. If nothing else, your confidence is admirable. Do any of you remaining take issue with this? I would stake my career and reputation on the work of Robin Shaw. My words may not be worth much anymore, but it's true. With all due respect, Lady Apperton, it would be a great error to apprehend Shaw. Without the captain's diligence, this crew would have starved to death a long time ago. I can vouch for Shaw's work. I have multiple recordings and documents should you need them. I struggled for quite a while, but Shaw pushed us on. I wouldn't be here were it not for the captain's leadership. Can't do that. Shaw's our captain. Always kept the crew fed, that's for sure. Oh! He takes the science team with him. That son of a gun. Oh man, are we going to jail? Oh my god. It's even. What does that mean? That is enough from all of you. I have heard enough. You have your defenders, Robin Shaw, but I do not see enough reason to believe them. You will return to land with us, as a prisoner. Once we return, you will be tried by the courts. Understood? Minerva's. All because in that last conversation with Templeton, I said I wouldn't work with them rather than being neutral. There it is, folks. Honesty gets you in prison. Minerva's men move forward, restraining you. You are led back to the ship. That's wild. That's absolutely wild. That one blip, that one conversation. It's how it happened. You sit in your cell and slowly get visited by those still loyal to you. Sure. Tried to sneak in some food. Just a bite of bread, but a guard took it off my hands. Probably won't be trying my cooking again anytime soon, will you? Well, if you ever get out of this, don't lose contact, okay? I'll whip you up something nice when you're free. Captain, I suppose now it's just Shaw. I cannot believe you're being held like this. It's not right. Will they do him to say the same to me if they found my work unsatisfactory? I know what lies ahead, Shaw, but I'm worried. For both of us. And goodbye. Thanks? Can't believe that they would just lock you up like this. My own record can attest that this expedition was far from the smoothest, yet it pains me. You did what you could to be punished for that. No, that's a fair point, Dark Eyes. Literally being 12 for 12 is me sitting on the fence. I've been stabbed in the heart, quite literally. I will do all I can to spread the word, see you freed from this, Captain. Even if the Apatons attempt to censor my report, I won't give up on your story, Shaw. Sure. I fear this may be the last time we have the pleasure of speaking. Stanbury lets out a sad whimper as she approaches your cell, Rona slowly pulling the dog back. Not now, Stanbury. Odell lets out a sigh. Life is unfair, Shaw. I wish I could provide you with better guidance. Perhaps there will come to see sense in the future. Sure. It really is a great shame to see you like this. I'm sorry it had to come to this, Robin. Let's hope it can be cleared up once we reach land. Until then, try to keep spirits up. Please. For your sake, and my own, take care. You sink into yourself and stare at the cell walls. Robin Shaw, I must admit I never expected to see you leading the charge upon the shore. You were Hunt's own selection. I had little faith in the man's judgment. So that doubt was not misplaced. Yet you went with him. Why? He had the experience required. More so, he was desperate enough to take the work. Only the most desperate would brave the waste as you did, correct? Minerva Apperton grips her cane tight, her eyes upon you, judging, piercing. You must not take this fate as a negative, Shaw. It would be beneficial of you to see the silver lining. Your journey is at an end now, Shaw. Finally, you may rest. More daggers. Some weeks later. Here it is. Final draft. Should be ready for print in tomorrow's copy. Tinned Food Company investing so heavily in an expedition like this. Wonder what they were looking for. What do you think my next investigation is on? You never stop, do you? No wonder you love those explorers and survivalists. The idea of taking a rest doesn't register to you, does it? No, it doesn't. Disappearing for a year, then coming back with us. An epic tale of survival against the elements at the end of the world. Here I was thinking you'd finally gotten yourself killed. I'm afraid to say you haven't seen the last of me. Not at all. Kurt, you bloody idiot! What is it, Clive? I'm left-handed. I throw a punch with my left hand. He's on stage with him? Aww. But with the current blocking, it looks better if they throw with their right. Then change the bloody blocking then. Ah, right you are, Clive. Your attention to detail is impeccable. What you pay me for. Can you believe it, old chum? 2 weeks and the tale of the Temperance, our tale, will be on stage. Look at this. Our old scrap-up, just as I remember it. The way you remember it's got more holes in it than cheese. Ah, perhaps I'm getting up there in years. Good thing to grow old, I've learned. Don't you think, old friend? Aye, I do. Alright, who ordered the full fry? Patron raises their hand. Here, Junior, who's the musician? Come on now, can't you see the resemblance? It's my brother, Grimley. I can tell him to keep it down if you like. Not at all, he's doing a tremendous job. Ah, you hear that, Grimley? Aye. Always humble. That's nice for them. Been nice for nearly everyone so far. Oh. Please welcome Lady Ingrid Cordelia Weston. Odell enters the gala to the shock of many. Dog follows at her side. A woman gently nuzzling the creature's head. Arf, arf. Aw, Stanbury. Try not to get too excited, Stanbury. It's only a gala. Lady Weston, what is the meaning of this? Sir, you call me by my name, yet I have no idea who you are. Well, you should know that. I was not asking. You cannot bring a mutt with you. How odd. I seemed perfectly capable of doing so a moment ago. Arf. Yes, this way, Stanbury. Many hands to shake, names to forget, that sort of bother. I prefer to be home before late. The pups need fed. It's like the experience she's just getting on with it and couldn't escape the presses, but is still able to be who she wants to be. I love that for her. Odell moves across the room, faithful dog in tow. And all the little things that could have changed. Wonder how many epilogues are written. Nutley and Casher stand at the entrance to the barber shop belonging to Arthur Nutley Sr. Nervous? Always, yes. But you are more or less nervous than usual. Less nervous, more giddy? A sort of good nervous, I suppose. Nutley enters, followed by Casher. Is that him? He's coming this way. Arthur Nutley Sr. spots his son from across the shop. Arthur? My goodness, is it really you? Hi. Doctor isn't able to begin his sentence. Oh, interrupted by the barber throwing his arms around him, granting him a constricting hug. It's you, my boy. You're alive. Younger Arthur hesitates, surprised before returning the hug from his father. I am. Does your mother know? Your sister? Unless they've read it in the paper. Speaking of, I wrote something for you. Nutley hands his father the envelope he gave me. Please read it. Sometime when I'm not here. Of course I will. Casher clears her throat. Pleased to meet you, sir. Casher Belford. I don't think I didn't notice you. How do you know my son? I hope he hasn't gotten himself in trouble. Arthur in trouble? Hardly. Father Casher and I are, well, I think you see that we're an item. Yes. Arthur Sr. pauses for a moment, before a grin appears on his face. Son, you have been busy. Come sit. I have much to hear. Templeton sits alone in his office within the Apperton Botanical Gardens. Reaching into his front pocket, pulls out a single cigarette. He places it in his mouth and lights it up. Oh, 3 achievements. Act 5. Survive the ice with all crew alive. And survive with Kurt alive. Survive with Nutley, Cordell. Survive with Casher. Alive and loyal. Alive and loyal. Survive the ice unstained. Bring the stowaway there and back again. Junior alive and loyal. Detained. Survive the ice as Minerva's prisoner. So many. While the air was cold of flake and white, a captain made a pledge. The ice I prayed, that leads revealed some charted course ahead. To the souls around who brought me here beyond this polar's edge, a hunger drew the desperate here. The ones that I have fed. What did I do when steel hearts broke and courage did abscond? I've led these souls, so help the gods, out of the pale beyond. And we've wound all the way back to the beginning. Sign off. Oh, now I am crying a bit. Well, thank you, Bellular Studios. I thought that was wonderful. I thought things were really well written. I thought it was a masterful, build-up and creation of tension throughout. The management parts of the game were light enough that I was never truly overwhelmed. We had obviously our reloading and our bother, but it was light enough that I wanted more story. I wanted more engagement with the characters. And they fed it through, and for those bigger hits and bigger moments set against the quiet of the survival, I think that was beautifully handled. And I'm so curious about just how different that game can be. And the story and those epilogues. I think tomorrow we'll probably do a shorter stream going to investigate the cave. Because if it truly has become Lovecraftian in its nature there, that's where we'd find out. It might not. It might literally be stones and lava. But not doing a full playthrough to change choices, but to see what's in that cave, I think we can certainly do that tomorrow. But man, I am really impressed. I can't wait to see what this team does next. And I had some bias going in here. Bellular is he's like a big WoW YouTuber, and he covers a lot of gaming news these days. And that's how I learnt about the game, and I was just curious, that's money where your mouth is. And they did a wonderful job there. Now, let's set up for tomorrow. Before we continue, what happens? Is this the one that does the choice? Nope, that's one back. Hang on. Overwrites the save, but that's fine. It is recorded online forever. Aye. And we'll catch up to the point at the cave tomorrow. With that then, folks, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed yourselves, hit that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel for more content. We're here in the weekday mornings with WoW, play other games on the evening. Thanks to everyone who's come along live, and those who will watch in the future. You can find playlists for all the different games we've played here on the channel. So until next time everyone, much love, take care, and bye-bye.